Any recovery programme based here in London, run by me, will certainly have older people at the heart of it. Things like scrapping the congestion charge hike, getting rid of the out of London tax, the charge for coming into out of London, and supporting our high streets by having 30 minutes free parking are already in my manifesto. And in addition to that, I will also have great representation. When you talk about organisations such as Age UK, they should be at the table as part of the conversation to make sure we are delivering on the needs for older Londoners. The age-friendly programme is one of the great innovations that many cities across the world are following and supporting, so I absolutely will continue that support. I think it's a great initiative. But I'll also go further and invest in the health and well-being of older people in London. I used to sit on a board of a hospital, and I know how important that investment is to Londoners to improve quality of life. And when I look at some of the areas that we lead in the world around health and biotech, I'll make sure I support that as well. Med City in the King's Cross area, for instance, will receive a 500% boost in its income from City Hall to make sure that we develop the health care that we need into the future for elderly people and everybody as well. Social isolation is one of those modern scourges that we really have to combat. I used to run a 60-plus day centre, so I understand the crippling effect it can have on someone to be socially isolated. So the first steps I'll take is to make sure I reverse the congestion charge hike. I'll also not expand the ultra-low emission zone, and I will not bring in the outer London driving tax. All of these things making it harder for people to visit family and friends. But I think the most important step we can take is to reverse Sadiq Khan's tax on blue badge holders. I will remove the £12.50 charge for blue badge holders to come into London, and they'll be exempt from any other future tax as well. It's very important to make sure that people, particularly older people, have access to people so that they don't suffer from isolation. So for me, that's the first practical steps you can take. I think the best thing we can do to reduce poverty amongst older Londoners is to control the cost of living in London. That's why I will reverse Sadiq Khan's 10% council tax hike. Because of course, across his term, he's risen council tax by 31%. And at a time when older people can least afford it. If London is to prosper, we're going to need people to hold on to as much of their own money as they can, and I'll facilitate that. And of course, I'll keep the costs for travel low or non-existent. I think the best way to support older job seekers is with my plan to generate 924,000 jobs over a 5-year period. Having that employment in London, rebuilding London's economy, is the best way to support people looking for work. Also as well, I'll make sure that travel is free or the cost is very, very low, because older Londoners need the support to get into work. When it comes to 60 plus Oyster and Freedom Pass, they are a crucial part of London's economy, and I absolutely will protect them. And I'll protect them into the future as well by rebuilding TfL's finances with my infrastructure bank that I'll give 10.9 billion. This is in direct response to the failure that we've seen from Sadiq Khan over the last 5 years, running TfL's finances into the floor. And this will mean my sponsorship scheme will give us back the money to do that. So in Dubai, they raised 400 million a year with their sponsorship scheme, and our network is 5 times the size of theirs. So I think conservatively we could raise £500 million, and that money be invested into keeping 60 plus travel and the Freedom Pass free, and also under 18s. I will continue to support digitally excluded Londoners to be involved, to learn the skills in a community setting through the adult education budget. Not only is it important for the individual to have access to these skills, but it's also important to all of us, to our economy. Because as I've said before, older Londoners are a huge part of our economy and we want them to be able to participate properly. And this is just one way of supporting that work. I think the best way to celebrate the huge contribution of older Londoners is to make sure that all mayoral strategies, all 7 of them, there's proper representation for older Londoners. We also have to remember as well that older Londoners are a huge part of our economy, a vibrant part, and there's lots of experience there that we can all benefit from across London.